All right, guys. We Don't Know Ball podcast is back to back days, giving you NFL side of things now. With funny enough, special guest, the self-proclaimed guy of why we named our podcast We Don't Know Ball. Uh, P4, a good buddy of ours, has that we've talked to on the TikTok side of things, is here talking football with us, our self-proclaimed fucking Eagles glazer. So, please, people, introduce yourselves before we get into our shit show of a fucking episode.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on. My name's Pat. The internet knows me as P4. Like he said, I'm an Eagles glazer. Love the Eagles going back to back, and I'm excited.
You want to let our viewers know your little claim to fame on who your family member is and why you think you got credit to talk about things?
Oh yeah, sure. So I got two cousins in the NBA, Andrew Nemhard and Ryan Nemhard. They're looking good. Tell Jason Kidd get my guys some more minutes. They don't got a point guard. They got one in house. So
Fact, fact. Retro and Justin. I mean, we talked yesterday, but NFL side of things now. I know Justin, you were saying that this is something you were excited for, with our today's onslaught. What's up with you, man?
I couldn't be happier because the amount of hate I received, not only from you two idiots, but the rest of the internet, talking about a certain team that wasn't nobodies and wasn't going to do nothing, are now front runners in their division. Before, if you don't pay attention, I've been on the Bears bandwagon and I've been hyping them up and I've been behind Caleb. And now to see that they are leading the NFC North when I said that they would be competing for the division but would fall short to the Lions and are now in first place. Like I said, people want to clown me for it, this, that, and the other. I saw the other teams in the division and I see what the Bears had. And this division, in my opinion, was wide open the whole way. The fact that the Bears have seized the opportunity, it's not about how you win, it's about winning. And that's what they're good at right now. Whether it's their field goal kicker bailing them out, whether it's their defense bailing them out. Yeah, you guys can say it's not Caleb, but Caleb has looked good, not great. He's getting outplayed by the quarterback on the other side consistently every week, but they're winning games. And that's what it's about in the NFL, is winning games, which has led them to first in the division. So it makes me happy to have said something that seemed so outlandish to so many people, but at the same time, it's like when you see something happen, you can see where there's a divide and where things can happen. So you can say it's a fluke, you can say it's this, but the Bears, as crazy as it sounds, are a complete team in the league. You can do that all you. That's okay. Pod the Rams here. That's good. We'll get to them in a bit.
Retro.
Yeah, good to be here. I'm excited. Obviously, the Bears are fraudulent. They're going to finish third in their division. And it's pretty clear to me because their schedule is garbage. But I'm happy to be here. Happy to get into it. Feeling good today. Feeling better that my quarterback isn't Caleb Williams. Yeah.
Marcus Mariota, mind you.
Your state.
you know,
Your state.
Rather have Mariota. Give me Mariota.
Your
That's
state.
the Eagles and the Eagles and the Bears have a little alliance going on.
That's fine.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's coming after the King, bro, when the King isn't even playing.
That's fine. I'm good with it. His stadium, this type of grass they play on has taken 2 franchise quarterbacks from him, so that's why he's bad. But I don't know, a couple things I want to run down before we get into the game slate is the first one's not even on the football side. I'm sure you guys saw Stephen A. negotiated his release from NBA Countdown today, which I think is an interesting point. ESPN gets $20 million off their books on the Stephen A. side of things. You guys can be happy about it. I've always been a Stephen A. guy because I like that he's going to push his agenda, whether right or wrong. He's going to defend it with fact, and he's pretty good at making people believe it, whether it's far-fetched or not. The other thing I want to talk about is with the Dylan Gabriel injury on Sunday, we got to see Shitter's debut. And the fact that his coach comes out after the game and says that it's his first reps he's ever taken with the first team, he was in an NFL game against the Ravens. Kind of seems like there's way more problems in Cleveland than we already knew about. So that's an interesting thing to bring up. Packers escaped their game against the Giants because Jameis gonna Jameis on that last throw wasn't even near a receiver. Was fucking awful. Just can't believe it. Retro, we promised not to talk about your team, but Miami beats Washington. Don't care you don't have a quarterback. Don't care you lost to literally the worst team in football.
Tank Bowl, baby. We're gonna get such a good draft pick. God bless. Jaden is gonna cook next year.
Yep. Jacksonville put belt to ass on the Chargers. Just unbelievable. I don't know if it was a fluke, a trap, or they're just fraudulent, but that was
Jim
insane.
Harbaugh, baby. Jim Harbaugh.
That's Harbaugh ball.
Jacoby Brissett sets an NFL completion record. That just seems foul to me that it comes from Jacoby Brissett. And then I have a point B to that one. I wonder what prestige Kyler Murray is in the new time.
That's a good question.
Just kind of a little bit of a quick rundown. You guys can give your thoughts on whatever things you want in there. I also have in there, I already talked about it, the Bears were first in the division, but those couple touching points, if anything you guys want to jump in on, I mean, like I said, the one that jumps out to me the most, I think is insane, is Brissett sets the NFL completion record.
The one thing that I wanted to touch on that you actually didn't mention that I know you ran with it when we first started, Ashton Genty being Tyreek Cohen 2.0 seems like, dog, if you're not being able to rush, I understand the Raiders don't have a good offensive line, but it's against Dallas. It's against Dallas, dog.
We talked about it on the basketball podcast yesterday when you said KD must have heard me that they are going to change their whole offensive scheme and they went on a 4-game winning streak. I don't know what it is now. I feel like it's just that I call it as I see it, and somehow a majority of the time it turns out the way I call it, and it's just it's insane to me. It could be learning curve issues. I think the kid is talented, but I never thought his game was going to translate. He's too undersized. They're like, oh well, his undersized shit doesn't matter. He's explosive. Shit ain't flying right now.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on that. There's a couple other things, but that first thing, his game was never going to translate. The reason why is because Ashton Genty in college was basically just a pure power back, and he was being able to play power ball because when you're on the best team in your conference, in a G5 conference, not only do you have the best O-line in the conference, you're also playing against horrible competition. It's two in a row, right? But then when he plays against Penn State and he actually has to play against a real defensive line, like a defensive line that will put up resistance, he folded. And because of that, I knew Cam Scatterby would be better than him. I knew some of the other backs in the class would be because I saw what he did against real comp. I didn't think that was going to translate. As far as the Browns go with Shedeur, it's not true that this is like his first time with first team reps. That was a PR stunt. Stefanski himself said that in camp he was taking first team reps. He had like 20 or 30 different reps that we know of that were put down on like their off season stuff.
He is that this hasn't happened, and if you've been on Twitter at all, there are backup quarterback, journeyman quarterback, fourth string quarterbacks all talking to his aide that say that this is a fact and these are things that happen when you're lost in a quarterback room. When you're the third or fourth guy, you don't ever get any reps. And if you do, it's 10 to 15 minutes of practice. So, like, if you're seeing this, and it's like, you could say he's gotten reps, but let's be real. The last time he took first string reps was probably before the preseason.
The reason why I don't think so is because I think the Bears definitely knew they would be in a situation where Shedeur was going to play. I'm sure they didn't put all their hopes in a prospect as mid as Dylan Gabriel. And so realistically, you know that both rookies are probably going to play. That's why I don't think I buy it. I think Stefanski said it because of how bad Shedeur looked. You have to make your quarterback look good. That's just kind of one of those things. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, because you brought it up and it's very important. The Bears are probably going to finish third in their division. I don't think they're finishing top two. This first part of their schedule so far, they've got wins against the Raiders, against the Cowboys, against Washington, and a miracle win when our team was hurt, against the Saints, against the Bengals without Burrow, against the Giants without Scatterby, and against 9. Those are their 7 wins. As far as the rest of their schedule, they have to play Pittsburgh. They have to play at P4's Eagles. They've got to play at the Packers. They have to play against the Packers again. They've got at the Niners, Detroit. I mean, they're not going to have more than 9 wins probably. This team is very fraudulent, and they're about to be exposed, and I cannot wait to watch it so that I can talk about this later on.
Honestly, at this point, so is the whole division because Green Bay has fluke games. The Lions are the clear-cut front runner. Like, they should not be in the position they are. They've had a tough schedule. I can't blame what they've had on a schedule against what they're playing. You have to understand that is if the Bears are putting up the wins, they're beating these teams. And you can say whatever. I think there's potential for them to win this week against my Steelers. There's potential for them to split and or take both against Green Bay because of the way Green Bay has downplayed their opponents. So do I think that they could beat these guys that are supposed to be top front runners? I don't know. P4, you can give more insight on it because you've seen the Eagles play great football this year and really fucking bad football this year. It all depends, honestly, in my opinion, if Carter's in your lineup because if he's not in, you guys look like shit on defense.
Um, for the bear side of things, I think that they can keep it up. I think they can win these games. Like you said, I think they definitely have a chance to beat the Steelers. The Steelers aren't nothing special. The defense is it's 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 there. It's questionable a little bit. And the thing is, they're winning these games, and Caleb Williams isn't 100% clicking, but we're seeing the signs of what he can be. He's clearly been the best escape artist in the NFL this year. The O-lines look pretty well as well. And Ben Johnson, he's definitely going to get a game over the Lions. I don't see him not getting one. The Packers are very fraudulent. Everybody was telling me that they were contenders. The Eagles should be scared. We're not scared of those guys. Jordan Love, honestly, I've been pretty impressed with Jordan Love recently. Packers fans are wanting to get rid of Matt LaFleur for some reason. That's a little crazy to me, but at the end of the day, the Packers defense is on and off. They were supposed to be one of the best defenses in the NFL. These last couple of weeks hasn't really looked like it to me personally. But and then for my birds, I mean it's typical honestly. It's been like this for the last couple of years where we're just scraping by games. I don't know why. Our offense looks terrible. It's honestly at times not even fun to watch the Eagles. I mean, it's really fun to watch that defense. That defense is fantastic. Uh, Jalen Phillips was a fantastic ad. Or Dory Jackson's been getting better. Quinyon Mitchell is the best corner in the league. I'm saying that now. I don't care. And Jalen Carter, he's always been good. Jordan Davis is taking a step. Moro Jomo. We got guys like Jalix Hunt who's breaking out. So I'm not really worried in the NFC. I don't see any team like for example, a team like the Seahawks. I are you gonna tell me that I'm supposed to believe in these guys? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't believe in Sam Darnold. They're good in the regular season. I don't know how it's gonna translate to the playoffs, but going back to the Bears, I think the Bears have what it takes. That defense is getting better. DeAndre Swift is actually playing really well. So they got Manungai. He's a good.
And a great supporting to him. It's been interesting to see 2 weeks when Swift has been down and down for a month. But my question to you would be: is it fair to say that the Packers look like a watered down version of the Eagles? The defenses are strong. They're running a very similar style of offense where they don't want their quarterback throwing the ball downfield. It's a lot of checkdowns and screens where they, especially now that Josh Jacobs is down and they have to bank on Emmanuel Wilson, that it's kind of the same thing as they don't really want to hand it the same way that the Eagles want to force feed Saquon even though they stack the box against them. So I think we're just seeing the Packers play a watered down version of what Philly is doing. I think Philly just has more talent on that side of the ball to get it done.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think for me personally, honestly, I think the Packers are in a little better situation offensively. The thing with AJ Brown, all that drama, whether it's affecting the team or not, it's I guess that's speculation. But having a good signal caller in Matt LaFleur compared to the Eagles, Kevin Patullo, I think that's all the difference. And it's really, I think it's more of situational football with the Packers. They're fourth down, they're not really good. Um, they play down the competition, so I think it's definitely fair to say that they're similar to the Eagles, but I do trust. I don't want to say I trust the offense more, but I think that schematically at least they're in a much better situation than the Eagles are.
I wanted to get real quick.
Before Jules goes crazy about the Seahawks, and this last thing I want to talk about before with the Eagles is outside of the Lions, is there a team in the NFC that you guys problems?
I, I think honestly, from what I've seen, if I'm just going based off play, I would say it's the Seahawks. That defense is legit. They're really good. The offense is super efficient. It really all depends on Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold protects the ball, they'll be fine.
Saying worried about MVP front runner Matthew Stafford, you know, Rams.
No. I've been on record saying that the Rams don't scare me whatsoever. I think that defense is a bit overrated. Yeah, they have a really good front four. The linebackers have been playing pretty well. That secondary, I do think is chips and cookies out there.
So real quick, when the Rams win the Super Bowl in about 3 to 4 months, please come back to this clip. I just want to make that clear. And I also
Not happening.
I wanted to say this as well, because I want to make sure we have this clip for the record. You said Quinion Mitchell is the best corner in the league, so I just want you to say on air that you think Quinion Mitchell is better than Pat Surtain.
I think Quinion Mitchell's better than Pat Surtain.
There's the clip. All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure we had that. Okay.
That's elite, man.
Jules, we'll give you the floor to try to defend your sea chicken before we jump into the first game.
My sea chicken. So this is going to be said argument. Now I've been on record. There's been the reason why we are 7-2 prior to this game is because of two specific plays. Anthony Bradford not being the worst right guard, being the worst player in the NFL, not being able to guard Nick Bosa, letting up a sack. Then Sam Darnold throwing a pick in the last play of the game to turn over the ball and them kneeling it down. Two plays that we were away from being undefeated. Now, even in Sam Darnold's worst game of the year, throwing 4 picks, and your cat even admits that P4 is that even in four interception games, he led a drive to basically get them into field goal range, and a no call that was on JSN, a no call defensive holding penalty to put them into field goal range, and we miss a field goal. So now that 2 plays is up to 3. We are 3 plays away being undefeated. Even Sam Darnold's worst game, we lost by 2 points, and they're a legitimate shot of being a better team. And P4 said it beautifully. We're better than the Rams. Sam Darnold turned over the ball. If Sam Darnold doesn't turn over the ball, there's no way that we're not undefeated. The fact that you're doing that, Matt Stafford, up until the fourth quarter, had less than 100 passing yards. Let's put that into perspective.
That's fantastic. Matt Stafford also has 27 touchdowns to 2 picks, is 5th in the league in passing, and is leading a team that currently is 8-2.
And he game managed the whole game.
That team has a better defense than you, a better receiving core than you, running backs than you, a better quarterback than you. They literally across the board at almost every position are better than you. So to say that like your team, if Sam Darnold somehow does not start seeing ghosts, even if that happens, in a rematch, Matthew Stafford's not going to play that badly. You're not going to get that lucky twice. Lightning doesn't strike twice on Matthew Stafford. So you'll have playoff Stafford, and you have Kyren Williams to deal with.
Well, the thing that I thought was pretty interesting is outside of him hitting Nakua for the game, he only had like 6 or 7 completions for 55 yards outside of Nakua for the whole game. So it's like, I don't really know. I mean, I do think their receiving core is better. I don't think their receiving talent is better. If it makes sense to you guys, I think that the talent aspect of Cooper Kupp, the talent aspect of JSN, once they learn to use Raheem Shaheed as another weapon in that team, and they have Barner who's looked okay, not great. So they have the weapons to make things like work downfield. It's all a matter of, is Darnold going to have this time to go through every progression when things are going up and he doesn't have to play arm punts? I mean, one of them was tipped. The other 3 were just really bad picks this week. So, but
whenever we get to that game, that's going to be an interesting conversation.
The first one I want to jump into is 2 teams we really thought we weren't going to have to talk about at all this year. is Carolina and Atlanta. Bryce Young, 31 for 45, 448 yards, 3 touchdowns. I said it earlier this year. I said you could see the talent in Bryce Young. There was a time where I even said you can see elite tendencies in Bryce Young. He put a lot of shit together this week that we never thought we were going to see from him in the NFL, let's be honest. So I guess my biggest question off this game for you guys would be, with Carolina now being 6-5 and finally breaking that 500 hump, what does Carolina need to do to take the next step? What kind of pieces do they need to bring in? How do they draft? Where do you think that they can bolster to become a legitimate, I wouldn't say contender, but maybe a threat to maybe upset somebody in the first or second round of the draft?
They need to get a new quarterback. That's first and foremost. I don't know where I don't know who you get because it's kind of rough. They're not going to have like a great draft pick, but you get a new quarterback. Bryce Young owns the Falcons. Historically, Bryce Young owns the Falcons. His best games are against the Falcons. If Bryce Young played against only the Falcons for all 17 games, he would be the greatest quarterback of all time. However, outside of the Falcons, Bryce Young is extraordinarily mid, and he's way too short. If you are the Panthers, the first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a new quarterback. Rico Dowdle has proven he can be your running back, and you have a really good running back core. And Tet has proven to be an amazing number one. He's currently 6th in the league in receiving. So you start with a new quarterback that can feed Tet, and then you go from there. That's what I would focus on. Maybe Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Dante Moore. Those are all fair options.
No, those are horrible options for what going forward for this team. Those are never going to work out. They're going to be worse than Bryce Young. Bryce Young,
Fernando Mendoza is going to be way better than Bryce Young.
No. At Indiana, at Big Ten football, no, guaranteed. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Bryce Young, and ironically, we can fold this in because P4 and I actually agree on this specifically. So P4, remind me, for that stretch of games Bryce Young played against last year, yes, he lost against y'all. He lost against the Chiefs. He lost against, I believe it was Tampa Bay. It was all combined under 10 points, but he outplayed Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield. That's really weird. So again, this is what I hate. You guys go to quarterback wins and losses and blame it on them, but they outplay somebody, but they didn't get the win. Bryce Young is the answer.
That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, I don't judge. I don't take like a 2 or 3 game stretch where you're good and compare it to a 16 games or 17 game season, and then say, well, you're good for like 2 game stretches. You show a little bit of potential. I'm gonna keep on losing with you season after season. Bryce Young is not the answer. He's had multiple seasons to prove it, and every year he'll have like a 2 or 3 game stretch or like 1 game where he'll be like, wow, like there's the Bryce Young that we knew coming out of Alabama. The truth is, the Bryce Young coming out of Alabama was carried by weapons there, and now that he doesn't have the ability to be carried by weapons in the NFL and he's too short, Bryce Young has not been able to adapt. So what he can do is sometimes he can show flashes and sometimes he can have good games. This will never become a consistency. The good news for him is that he has Rico Dowdle and he's been able to lean on him a lot this year. But the bad news for him is he doesn't play the Falcons all 17 games in a year, and 2 to 3 game stretches aren't getting you to the playoffs.
The issue is, the thing that I can't get away from with Bryce Young is whether he's doing it himself or not. Which, like you said, he's doing it himself, not so much the thing, but he keeps his team in games. The amount of times that this guy has gotten his team in a position to win a game, where it's been, a lot of weight put on your kicker to make a game-winning kick, whether he misses or not, but he's good at leading that last drive to get you into field goal range. His game management on the last drive is way better than his entire game that he played up until that last 2 to 4 minutes.
Sure, I don't actually disagree. I also think Bo Nix has a really good ability to get people in position to win games. My problem is you also have to do things for the first 3 quarters. Like you can't really just be like, all right, well, it's the 4th quarter. I guess I'll lock in now, because that's how you end up in a bunch of blowouts. The good news about Bo Nix is that he also has probably the best defense in the league, if not top 5. And so because of that, Bo Nix can kind of just coast until the 4th quarter and then get his team in position to win. But Bryce Young doesn't have that. So Bryce Young has to be able to play better in the first 3 quarters. And I just don't see him putting together consistency there.
And
That's sort of
like you said, it was against Atlanta. I mean, we had a really fucking quiet game from Rico Dowdle this week. He just really felt like a non-factor in the game, so it was what it was. The other things I want to touch on with this before I let you go on that P4 is Penix was having a great game until he got hurt. Penix was playing football. Like, he was going nuts. And then I just had a question for the Atlanta side is, are they wasting Bijan, or is he young enough to weather the storm in Atlanta?
I personally think that the Falcons, I'm not really sure what they can do to improve this team. I think that they're pretty good in most areas, at least offensively. That old line is solid. Bijan is he's a special player. Drake London is taking another leap. I think he's clearly a top 10 guy in the league. So, and Michael Penix, I think things that Retro was saying about Bryce Young, I feel sort of with Michael Penix.
Hmm.
He's super inconsistent. Um, he has all you see, but the difference is he has all these weapons around him, proven weapons, and he's not getting the job done. So I think that I think that he can develop for sure because once again he shows traits as well. He has really good games, but he's super inconsistent. And with Bryce Young and the Panthers, I think that you get another talented pass catcher because Xavier Legette he's
Ah,
been a shit show recently, so he's been getting better, don't get me wrong, but we still need another
to
number two there.
to
So
to add the context.
Tight end, honestly. I think they need a certifiable check down guy for him.
Well, to add the context, because I've been on record saying this, because I'm a Michael Penix believer, and me and Retro have been on record about glazing him. I think he's going to be good. Why I do think there's some merit to the inconsistencies, and Justin Retro can back me up when I say this. In watching a couple of the Atlanta Falcons games, there's been times where Drake and that wide receiving core has been just like lackadaisical in their routes. And this was another prime example to where there's people who are like, there's always miscommunications. There's people who, run different routes than they should to. And that's, it is what it is. We see that happen. But it's like they're not running all the way through their routes. They're stopping short and all this kind of stuff. And Michael Penix is having to overcompensate because the wide receivers are giving bare minimum. Like it's like imagine if AJ Brown was asked to run an in route and he doesn't necessarily run that crisp like 8 yards and turn himself all the way in. He's lackadaisical. Drake London has been on record on tape just running really bad comeback routes or just an example. So it's like Penix is having to overcompensate to where he's being left out to dry at the same time. It's like I don't know if there's miscommunications, but and if there is, how is this happening so often to where Penix is having to run for his life and chuck it? Like I don't understand what's happening under Raheem Morris. Like I don't get it, but that's
Well,
what I believe.
No, and to add on to that, because the inconsistencies point is also true for another guy. I have all of TikTok telling me that Bijan Robinson is like the best running back in the league, easily top 3. But the reason why I don't buy that is because Bijan is also inconsistent. He's only 7th in the league in rushing, which doesn't really make sense because Bijan is getting fed the entire game in basically every game. He's had a couple weeks, I think it was either last week or the week before, he only has 50 yards rushing. There are games where Bijan can't get anything going. And I'm not saying it's common. He's obviously a great running back. All I'm saying is the inconsistency problem that Jules is talking about in the receiving core, that kind of exists everywhere. It almost feels like there's kind of a bad culture. It's like, it's a culture of only trying sometimes. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's a coaching thing, but something needs to be fixed there.
Well, my issue with the whole Bijan thing is they realized at the beginning of the year that Atlanta was going to struggle because they were going to start Penix. They wanted to put on this rookie quarterback. And if you watch the way that the defense is set up against Atlanta, they're playing the Eagles with Saquon. They're not letting him get off the line. They're not letting him get out of the box. They're not letting him get to the second level. So the fact that you can say it's inconsistencies, this, that, and the other, they're scheming for not Atlanta. So the fact that they're able to get him to be stuck in the backfield or 1 or 2 yard runs and that Atlanta can't force feed them, teams are daring Atlanta to beat them deep. Even as strong as Marmar, they are daring them. They are not going to let Bijan run for 100 yards a game. They're not going to let him do it. They are saying, you have a young quarterback, beat us with him. And that's what they're trying to do, and it's worked pretty well against Atlanta because, like you could say, Bijan 100% in my opinion, is a top 5 running back in the NFL. And going into this season, I had him probably top 3, top 2. And the only guy I had above him, honestly, was Gibbs in form of talent. And that could just be on me. I didn't believe Saquon was going to repeat. Derrick Henry wasn't going to repeat. Those guys were in the tail end for me. I did not have them repeat. I thought it as the young guns were taking over and that this was a new running back regime. And Gibbs and Bijan kind of showed it to start the year that they were doing the thing. And now it's like, stack the box. You got a young quarterback beat us over the top. And it has worked against these teams.
And to be fair, I think that's a lot of schemable ways of how you effectively go against rookie or sophomore, quarterbacks. Make them beat you until proven otherwise. Off rip, right? The greatest example. I remember the first 2 or 3, even 4 games of Justin Herbert his rookie year. They tried to put everything in and make him beat everybody over the top. Now Justin Herbert coming out of Oregon, as you know, Justin, has one of the best arm talents that in recent memory. And he was blowing everybody's fucking doors off. So everybody decided, well, that shit's not going to work. Let's make him beat us underneath and dink and dunk. And, Justin Herbert's been, as he is going through. So
Yep.
where I can understand the argument is, okay, make Michael Penix beat you. But at the end of the day, that still has to be somewhat of a two-way street, because Bijan, even though if they're going to scheme for Bijan, then okay, Bijan is then out of the equation. Then Drake London, even though you had over 100 yards, you still have to be finishing your routes. I forget who, like Kyle Pitts. We were talking about Kyle Pitts at the beginning of the year. Where the fuck has he been? He hasn't been doing shit. You know what I mean? It's a typical Kyle Pitts year.
He missed his cell underneath the jail. He had a dog down there, a family. That's where he wants to reside. Like he's not gonna be this elite tight end. He's not gonna be your Laporta, your Bowers, your McBride. He's not going to be. Could he very well be? Absolutely. But he's not gonna be.
Yeah.
I disagree. I think that Kyle Pitts absolutely can be. I think that Kyle Pitts is being underutilized and under-targeted because of all of the other targets on the team. I think when you have Bijan to target, you have Drake London to target. He already has his guys that he's favorited. Kyle Pitts kind of get tossed off to the side, but he clearly has the caliber, I think.
Well, Retro, and I that's where I disagree, because if there's already been tape enough and statistics that a lot of these wide receivers are breaking their routes, that are not going through everything, Kyle Pitts should be getting favored more, because he's actually one of the better route runners at the tight end position, and even now on his team. So if he's getting open, he should be getting schemed open, and they're just not. They don't believe in him. I just don't think so. I think Raheem Morris has it out for Kyle Pitts, and it sucks. I agree. There's the talent there, but if the route running, they're just not they're not putting him in the offense, and it's unfortunate because now Michael Penix is hurt.
No, I agree, because what you just said there specifically is my problem. He absolutely has the caliber. It's just that the play calling has it out for him. They just won't scheme him. So I think if they're like, listen, we are going to make you one of the front center pieces of this offense. It is going to be Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. Those are our 3. If they did that, I think Kyle Pitts would immediately go off. Because this year, he's already got 430 yards. So he'll probably get 700 or 800. I could easily see 1,000-yard season from him if they would actually just focus in on him. I just think it's like you said. I think it's play calling.
I think it's pretty questionable for me why he's not producing better than he is, because the Falcons should be a really good play action team. You have Bijan in the backfield. Michael Penix, one thing that he does really well is he throws with timing, he throws with anticipation. They should be good at play action. They have the guys to make plays after the catch. Kyle Pitts is pretty good after catch. Nothing special, but he's pretty good. Drake London, he's fantastic, and they could definitely attack the middle of the field with those guys. And Michael Penix, he has the skill set to do it. So I'm honestly surprised Kyle Pitts isn't involved in that offense more, because play action offenses usually have premier tight ends, for example, like Tyler Warren. He's looking fantastic in that type of role. Matthew Stafford makes tight ends look great no matter who they are, and he plays in a similar scheme. So it's really confusing to me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think what Retro said is the best way to sum it up. It's a culture problem, and they need to re-identify who they are as a team. But moving into what I considered a big ticket matchup this week in Tampa Bay and Buffalo. Retro, you were kind of skeptical about talking about this because you just assumed it was head and shoulders the better team, and it is what it is. And da da da. But like for me, I feel like this game just had to be because minus the 2 interceptions, it's about fucking time Josh Allen showed that he's a quarterback, not just a running back. 19 for 30, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns. Still got his 3 rushing touchdowns. But it's this game here is the proof of the Bills and Josh's inconsistency. People have been having in question this year on why they haven't gotten stuff done. So I mean, like I said, do I think Tampa is like clear cut like worse than Buffalo? I don't think so. I think that everyone just wants to take the Josh Allen train and say Josh is here and everybody else is down here, which is fine. I'm a big Josh fan, but like the one thing I was just confused about this week, and it made me laugh, is the welcome back to Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis back in Buffalo. Just I guess when your receivers go down, I guess that's a good option to have. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Buffalo is Buffalo. They're going to do the same thing every year. They're going to lose the Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs at some point. So it's just the way it goes. But I'm just intrigued to see why so much that you have Buffalo so heavily favored against Tampa.
So here's my thing. I don't necessarily think they're a better team if Tampa's fully healthy. If Tampa has Bucky Irving, if Tampa has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, sure, they definitely can compete. I think without those weapons, it's just going to be very hard. So you already talked about it. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns. He had 357 combined yards. He was absolutely insane. But one thing that I think Josh Allen does almost better than anybody is he elevates. I don't think Keon Coleman played this week, from what I remember. So this is what we had. We had 4 Bills receivers with 40 yards receiving or more in that game. We had 3 with over 60. We had 3 different receivers with touchdowns. And the best receiver on the field that game was Tyrell Shavers, who had 4 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown, who nobody had heard of until that game. So Josh Allen has this ability, this innate ability, that no matter who you give him, he is going to be able to elevate them. That is just one thing that he has been able to do in his career. I think that it is very clear that when Baker doesn't have all like his top weapons, he's still good, but he's gonna fall a little bit. And this game is just another game that's kind of been feeding into his slump a little bit. I think he's been basically eliminated from the MVP talks that he was in prior after these last few games, which is unfortunate. But he's kind of going through like a rough slump right now. And I think that especially because in this game there was only 1 sack total between the 2 teams, so Josh Allen was getting a nice clean pocket. And if you give Josh Allen time to move and time to think, Josh Allen is going to absolutely burn you. So for me, I was just like, because of the injuries that Tampa Bay is facing, I just kind of figured Buffalo was going to win this game, and it doesn't surprise me that much. I think people kind of need to slow down. I saw a lot of people saying Josh Allen should now be in MVP talks. 1 game is not near enough to do that for you. It was an incredible game, but right now the clear front runners, because we all know it's a quarterback award, are between Matthew Stafford and Drake May. So until Josh Allen can get on that same trajectory, you can't have that convo. But yeah.
Yeah, my thing really quickly. Funny enough, you mentioned Gabe Davis. Is Gabe Davis the equivalent of MVS to Aaron Rodgers to Josh Allen? Like literally, like Gabe Davis and Josh Allen are
Bless you.
but my thing with this game is Josh, like the inconsistencies have been so concerning for me because what Retro, you mentioned it, the floor raising of Josh Allen. We're seeing him being able to elevate the team because it's not necessarily great like name value. He's having to throw to no name wide receivers, which is innate value. But when you're going off of games where you're losing to the Miami Dolphins, is that there's times where this floor raising needs to be way more consistent than it is. Like, I'm not saying you need to go, 18-0, but you need to be doing it more frequently to where once it comes playoff time, you're going to be healthy enough and you're going to be consistent enough to make these runs specifically against Kansas City. And I think they might avoid that because I don't think Kansas City's making the playoffs. But I think that if Josh Allen is going to be consistent enough and they face a team like that, it's going to be a huge question mark. So if KC doesn't make the playoffs, let's just say hypothetically they don't, who's going to be the team that's going to beat them? Because we just saw the Patriots do it a couple weeks ago. Are they capable? We don't know. So Josh Allen, you need to be way better than you have been. And if you're in talks now of MVP because of one game, Retro, I agree. We can't be having that. We can't be moved by one game. Yes, it's an insane game, but that doesn't put you in these conversations to where, May and Stafford and these other guys have been doing it for a whole season. That's just moving the goalposts. And that's what I hate about the NFL community in general, because they do this game by game stuff because it's a limited amount of games instead of just remember 6 weeks ago. No, you don't, because it's happening right now. It's irritating.
Well, and you bring up a really good point about that. There's a saying in the college football and NFL space, and they say football is a "what have you done for me lately" game. So a lot of the time, people will literally just ignore like an entire season because this team beat this team recently. The MVP award is almost solely based off of narrative. The only reason, for example, Tom Brady has 1,200 more yards than Aaron Rodgers in a season and easily deserves MVP, but doesn't get it because he gets shut out by the Saints in the second to last week of the year, and so because of that, he doesn't win. The NFL is solely based off of like these stupid narratives, and I think it's very important that we say, hey, Josh Allen, you had a great game, but this whole season, Matthew Stafford and Drake May are clearly the best quarterbacks in the league. There's no need to talk about you yet. If you can do this week to week, yeah, maybe we have that conversation.
I just want to say, first off, Aaron Rodgers deserved that MVP. Okay, that's one. He had the best passer rating in the league, best touchdown to interception ratio in the league, and he's still the best thrower of the football that we ever seen. Okay, now touching on the Bills now, I I I'm not a believer in the Bills whatsoever. Um, I don't think that roster's talented enough, and I don't think Josh Allen. I'm not gonna say he's not talented enough to make it work. However, I simply don't believe in the guys around him. Um, I think the main thing with that Buccaneers game was Joe Brady called his ass off. He had great game plan, great situational play calling, and he got the most out of his guys that week. Josh Allen's fantastic, of course, we all know this, but I think the play calling was the difference. And you guys know, I've always been a bit of a Baker Mayfield hater.
No.
He's not a top 10 guy. He's never been.
Mm.
And I think that they should have won that game. When Josh Allen turns the ball over twice, you have to take advantage of it. They weren't good enough. Sean Tucker had a fantastic game, and you guys didn't win that game. You guys didn't take advantage of it. That's an issue in my opinion. Buccaneers should have won that game, and I agree with you guys. There's no way Josh Allen is in talks with Drake May and Matthew Stafford at this point in the season. He's not winning enough. He doesn't necessarily have the numbers. Now, yeah, he had a fantastic game this week with 6 touchdowns, but I think in all aspects of the game this year, Drake May and Matthew Stafford have been clearly better.
I would agree. I mean, yeah, like you touched on the last one, the touchdown was Sean Tucker with 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. With Rashad White struggling a little bit to help that offense. Granted, like we said, the Bills put it away. But moving into what could be, and P4, don't get mad at it, but what could be the NFC Championship game in Seattle versus the Browns. This game to me, Jules, I'm sorry, this whole game, whether you won or lost, was a fucking letdown to me. We were looking to see 2 good quarterbacks with 2 top 3 active receivers go crazy, and this game was just a letdown. It felt like neither team wanted to win. I thought it was the first time we've seen Darnold have a crack in his game all year. 44 attempts, 4 picks, and 3 in the second half is pretty rough, even though they still only lost by 2. I think these teams are actually fairly similar. I don't think one is actually head and shoulders better than the other. So this division race is going to get really interesting just to see who comes out on top at the end of the year. But my biggest takeaway from this game, and I've been harping it every week we've done one of these podcasts, another fucking missed field goal. Why are kickers getting paid at all in the NFL? This is starting to piss me off. There were certain games this week where weather was an issue and there was a lot of wind to deal with, but fuck, dude. There are so many missed kicks. I don't know if there's a kicker that's not named Brandon Aubrey or Cam Little that deserves a job in the NFL.
That's fair. Washington just signed Jake Moody to replace our kicker, so I'm sure that's going to go fantastic.
Well, outside that 1 year, Michigan kickers aren't necessarily worth a shit. So, to touch on this really quickly,
How many
to touch on,
Natty?
go fuck yourself. Anyways, this is my biggest thing, is that Sam like the offensive line. What was my biggest concern? Gray Zabel is now hurt. Gray Zabel has been a top 4 guard this year as a rookie. He's been, I believe, a top 3 in pressure rate, allowed pressure rate at like less than 4% this whole year, and now he's down. So the fact that our whole scheme has been disguising ourselves as a heavy set team and 11 personnel and going under center and analytically still being able to expand the field, because Clint Kubiak has been a great job doing that with JSN. It's probably now chalked. I don't know how we're going to be able to keep Darnold from getting sacked now that Gray Zabel's down. JSN still had a good game, over yet another game over 100 yards. And people were telling me that he had a down game, which is I just can't see it. My biggest question.
It was a down game for JSN and Puka versus what we've been seeing from them. Even though Puka still had 95 yards, JSN still had that. He had that phenomenal one-handed catch down the sideline in full sprint. So it's like, it's just down for what we've seen from them for the year. That's all it really is. It's not like it's a bad game. It's just a down game.
That's fair. My biggest thing is now in a playoff setting, where I've said it before, is JSN or not JSN, is Sam Darnold going to translate? And against better defenses this whole year, he's been inconsistent. Same thing when I just harped on with Josh Allen. The inconsistencies is scary, because if we're going into the playoffs and let's just say we do play the Rams in somewhat the first game and they don't get the bye or whatever, that's a chalked loss. And this now seems like a stagnant season, to where now we signed Sam Darnold for this multi-year deal, but we can get rid of him after this year. And then we're looking in the face of fucking Jalen Milroe. And we all saw Jalen Milroe this year, and he was dog shit. And I've been harping on that for a while. I'm genuinely concerned, because Sam Darnold, I don't want Jalen Milroe to be my quarterback for the future as of right now. I want Sam Darnold so that Jalen Milroe can develop. I think he can develop, absolutely. But
sorry, no develop for Jalen Milroe. That dude is a fucking locker room pregame huddle dance. That's what that dude is.
My point is that we have to go back to back to square one, and we just let some Matthew Stafford beat us with less than 150 total yards. And shout out to Ernest Jones for that press conference afterwards, sticking up for Sam Darnold, because that's a defensive identity. That's something that a lot of like Bobby Wagner would do if Russ had a bad game. He gave me big Bobby Wagner vibes, and that got me like emotional. So shout out to Ernest Jones. You're a real one for doing that.
defending a bum.
And I
That's my
just
quarterback, man.
I just want to say I do disagree with Justin. I think Jalen Milroe could develop into like an Adrian Peterson type running back. I think he could probably play. He could probably play a little bit of inside-outside ball.
Become a great slot receiver.
Yeah. I think you could maybe see him play a little bit of a Bijan role where he's in the slot and going to the run game. But no, this is what I expected to see. One thing is, you can have McDonald to elevate, and you can have JSN to elevate you, and Cooper Kupp to elevate you. But eventually, the scene goes, Sam Darnold will reappear, and it will happen in big games. And that's just kind of the biggest concern, because on the surface, the Seahawks should be a really good team. They should be. And Jules is like, oh, they're better than the Rams. No. Because as soon as they get into a big game, like the playoffs, Sam Darnold is going to fall on his own sword, and Matthew Stafford is going to do Matthew Stafford things. Because Matthew Stafford is a proven quarterback who has won a Super Bowl, and Sam Darnold cannot do that. So if you meet the Rams in the playoffs, like you said, it's a chalk loss. If you meet the Eagles in the playoffs, it's going to be a chalk loss. There are a few teams that you will meet in the playoffs, and Sam Darnold he just won't do what he needs to do. And especially in an NFC this year that I think is very loaded, you might get lucky enough to play against the Bears, and if you do play against the Bears, then yes, that's a free win. But if that doesn't happen, I don't know. Donald would have to pull out a miracle, I think.
I think that the Seahawks are better than the Rams, and I think that like 4 interceptions is damn near an all-time bad game, and you were still in the game. You had the chance to win it on the last play of the game, and same things that we're saying about, well, not necessarily the same things. However, Matt Stafford this year against good defenses, he's either not performed well or he hasn't put up the points, right? When they played the Texans, he puts up 14 points. The team still wins, but he puts up 14 points. They played the Eagles, had a great first half. He disappeared in the second half, right? They played the Seahawks, and he has a subpar game once again. And there's really no excuse for it. That O-line has been fantastic this year. One of the best running blocking O-lines in the league. Obviously, he has probably the best wide receiver tandem in the league with Devontae Adams. Shout out Devontae Adams, much better than Mike Evans, by the way. And of course, shout out Puka Nacua. But my thing with the Rams is, one, I don't think that defense is as good as people make them out to be. I think that they can definitely get got. But I do agree with you that Stafford he's a big game performer. And in the playoffs, I would say that I trust him more than Sam Darnold. But we've seen it in the past, especially in the NFC, that the more complete team ends up winning these games. You don't in the NFC, you don't need an elite quarterback to win playoff games. So I think the Seahawks can get it done for sure.
Would you know about that personally, about not needing an elite quarterback to win playoff games?
I wouldn't really know about that, to be honest.
I know you would, but anyway, to move on to elite quarterbacks, or formerly elite and somebody coming to replace him as elite. Kansas City versus Denver. Very interesting quarterback duel, but in my opinion, Bo Nix just has to find a way to drive the ball into the end zone. This dude can put up all the numbers in the world, but can't put up a touchdown. And I don't know if you guys know this, but interesting fact about this, this is the first opening drive Denver has scored on all year, and it was a field goal.
What?
It's the first opening drive to put points on the board this year, and it was a field goal.
Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels conversations with Drake May is so nasty. Oh my goodness.
So funny, but I don't really have a lot of notes on this one. I mean, Denver's cruising this year. They're 9-2 and 6-0 at home. So it's like they are the definition of a homer team, in my opinion. They just play better at Mile High. I'll always call it.
I want to take my victory lap. I need to take my victory lap. I said before the year.
Victory lap, dude.
I said before the year.
On so many takes this year, the fact that one.
I've been right on every take, and this is yet another one. I said before at the start of this year that the Broncos would go 13-4. And why did I say that? Because their defense would be like the no-fly zone. Their defense would not allow anything in, anything out. And that is exactly what is happening. This Broncos defense is absolutely phenomenal and is hard carrying the quarterback. I said it would happen, and it did. I know ball. As far as this game is concerned, it kind of showed a few things. Okay, so the first thing that we saw, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, Mahomes should not be in best quarterback in the league conversations anymore. He's simply not. Even if you want to argue he's a good playoff performer, Jalen Hurts is also a good playoff performer. Neither of them are in the conversation for best quarterback in the league. Mahomes has clearly taken a pretty steep fall off. This was just another example of that. I don't think Bo Nix is coming to replace him. I'd be careful using that. He will never be elite. But I think that Mahomes is definitely on the fall off. One thing I wanted to touch on, because Jules said it earlier, the Chiefs are definitely making the playoffs. The rest of their schedule is pretty easy. They're going to coast to probably 10 or 11 wins. And the thing is, they're going to beat out teams like the Chargers, for example, who are barely holding on to a playoff spot after getting blown out by the Jaguars. The Chiefs will just take their spot. So for me, it's like, I think for me, I know for a fact they're getting in. So as far as that's concerned, I would just say that he probably will elevate come playoff time, but he should not be in these conversations as the best in the league.
If that's really how you feel, I mean, I'm in the same boat as I love the playoffs. I'm interested to see what Kansas City does in the offseason. So hopefully both of the teams get to win the list. I understand they weren't healthy for a lot of the year. I mean, Cubs in 6 weeks, so it was like miserable. Start to see them start to click it. But it's still, like you said, it feels like Mahomes like that really fine out feet. And as soon as that peak happened, it's just it's hard to watch because this guy, people want to put him in the Brady conversation, and I just don't get it.
Really quickly, why I say that they don't. I had to pull this up really quick. Through 2025, the 5-5 Chiefs had a 6.7 point differential per game. In 2024, the year prior, when they went 15-1, and this does not count Week 18 when they sat everybody, they had a 6.1 point differential game. So literally, they are scoring literally one more point, basically a full point, which is marginal. Still, they are now 5-5 compared to at this point last year of being undefeated. So this is what I mean about the luck of Mahomes, and where, Richard, you were talking about, like, I do think he's taking a step down. I think this whole team is taking a step down to where even they were doing even better this past year, and they were getting the black magic wins that everybody was talking about. The black magic's not here anymore. We need to stop talking about Mahomes, guys. The resume isn't here. The resume's not here anymore.
But it's very important to point out. There's a very thing important to point out that you didn't touch on that I want to. Right? You look at the rest of their schedule. They're beating the Cowboys. They're beating the Texans. They're beating the Hurt Chargers. They're beating the Titans. They might lose to the Broncos, and they're beating the Raiders. They're guaranteed winning at least 5 more. So as far as I'm concerned, this team is already 10-7. If they beat the Broncos, at home, that's like an extra thing, and they probably will because it's an Arrowhead. But even if they don't, they've got 5 wins guaranteed. So to me, they're already 10-7. This schedule is so cupcake, like it's so light. The Cowboys have no defense. The Texans have no offense. The Chargers are hurt. The Titans are trash. The Raiders are trash. Like to me, they're already almost guaranteed a playoff spot.
I think it's
P4,
I think it's honestly a little crazy. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes has fallen off a little bit. He's not as explosive as he was during his MVP days and when everybody used to glaze him. However, to me personally, he's still the best quarterback in the league. The Chiefs' offense, I don't know if anything changed, but I'm pretty sure even with last week that they were second in EPA per drive, the Chiefs' offense, and they're dead last in explosive run rate. The issue with the Chiefs' offense is, and it's been like this for a little while now, but Patrick Mahomes has just been so good that it hasn't really mattered, is that they have no running game. Now, Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, they're pretty good at picking up, keeping the team on schedule. You know what I'm saying? They don't really get stopped in the backfield too often. However, there's no explosive run plays, and in the NFL landscape today, it's all about explosives. It's all about a true running game in today's NFL, and the Chiefs simply don't have it, and it's really hurting them. And I just want to say that Texans game, I don't know if that's a free win, man. The Texans have been they've been winning games. Davis Mills has looked really good. Shout out Nico Collins. He's on my fantasy team. He's been balling. So I don't think that's as easy as a game as you think it is. That defense is clearly one of the best in the league, if not the best. So with the offensive struggles that the Chiefs have been having, uh, I think it could continue. I don't think it's a free game at all. And that Chargers game, is Joe Alt supposed to come back this year? Because if he is, I may pick the Chargers to win that game.
I'm pretty sure Alt is out for the year, but if Alt came
Okay.
back, I don't think it would really matter. Like, as far as it's concerned to me, like, we just saw Jacksonville literally put belt to the Chargers, and that Jacksonville team would probably lose to the Chiefs by multiple touchdowns. I don't
No.
know.
I mean, I think what we're seeing is maybe people are starting to switch like in the sense that don't feel people are really don't want to go crazy on this game, but the chance to keep it down a little bit, even though it wasn't that great. These are two teams that could be in the NFC Championship game this year. But this game, the offense is good. Both defenses are pretty solid. But all of them, I mean, the only question mark that happened this year is it's not happening this year, but we can see Saquon Barkley at some point. Or is he just wanting I don't know. So listen, it's not looking terrible on offense. It's really terrible. So defense is just kind of their way with each other's offenses. So I don't really know what to say about the team. I don't know if it's just a hey, let's not show she really kind of into it or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give a quick shout out to Jared Goff. It is very rare that we see a terrorist performance that is so bad that all you can do is really just look back and watch in awe. 38% was his completion percentage. His QBR was a 9.5. I really cannot remember the last time I have seen a quarterback in single digits in QBR. Shadur might have been. I didn't check. That was truly but yeah, and so as far as this game is concerned, just an awful watch, all 4 quarters. Sonic and Knuckles couldn't get anything going on the ground. Obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs was good through the air. He had over 100 yards receiving, but on the ground, they couldn't get anything going. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Eagles and their fullback Jalen Hurts had a combined 40 carries in that game. Jalen Hurts was responsible for 10 of those carries. They had 148 yards and a touchdown. I didn't know if the Eagles were playing like Army football, like out of like the military playbooks where you can only run. I don't know what that was about, but it kind of looked like it. Amon Ra was pretty quiet, but that's probably just because Jared Goff literally couldn't throw the football. The Eagles had 2 fumbles, which contributed to the shit show that was that game. I really just like. I don't know. This game was just terrible in general. I'm not actually all that surprised the Lions lost. One of my biggest concerns with the Lions is that they're 6-4, which sounds good, but they're only 3-3 in away games. They're 3-1 at home. At home, they seem very comfortable, but away, they don't really seem overly comfortable, and maybe that's an issue. But all in all, I mean, this was truly one of the worst quarterback versus quarterback displays I think I may have ever seen.
Oh man, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Um, there were wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, so I'm gonna give them a little bit of grace. For Jared Goff, there's really no excuse for playing that bad. However, um, I mean, you know what? I take that back. There is an excuse. He played an absolute elite defense with the best corner in the league. Got Jalen Carter, got Jalen Hunt. We got all these guys. He was in hell, bro. Like that's really it. And I feel bad for him because that offensive line, it's not what everybody thought it would be. They have some good games where they show what they could be, and then they have games like that where Jared Goff is under constant duress, and we know what type of quarterback he is when he's getting pressured. So I think that's one thing. Secondly, I didn't think the game was that terrible. I mean, I sort of really love the old school football games where defense is actually a factor. So I like defensive football, and not too much on my quarterback, man, because you're talking about a terrorist. We have a terrorist calling plays for us named Kevin Fatullo, and Nick Sirianni as well. He's not off the hook, that's for sure. We have two tight ends that can't block for shit. Uh, Grant Calcaterra is one of the worst. He's one of the worst run blocking players in the entire league. I think all of us can do better than him. And Kyle Granson, I don't know why he even gets playtime. He's terrible. Um, but we constantly put them out there. We're constantly in two tight end sets. It's terrible. We don't run empty formation, even though we're always successful in it. And to answer your question, Justin, about Saquon Barkley, honestly, I don't know, man. I that offensive line has definitely regressed, and the play calling isn't helping. So
I mean,
Jalen Hurts has.
the thing is, if you like watching those games, like if you enjoy watching that kind of football, what I would say is go back to like the 1940s. You can get some really good football games with very similar type of play. The quarterback running out of wing back and playing fullback with 10 carries. That kind of play. And I think Jalen Hurts would actually fit in really well back then and into those times personally. But I don't know.
I agree with you
Um,
there.
the only uh, I'm sorry, the only note that I have on this, dog shit. That's the only thing I wrote on this. Dog shit. Dog shit. This is retro. I agree. This is the worst watch I've ever had in my life, and I've watched some shitty fucking football. And I'm from,
Yeah.
mind you, I'm from the city of Philadelphia, so I've watched a lot of early Birds games with McNabb, with Kevin Cobb, having to go through that kind of stuff. This was absolutely terrible. Yes, the gusts were up to 30 miles an hour, but holy shit, dog, holy shit. Like in P4, if you like, self-deprecation, by all means, by all means. I will never want to watch that kind of game because my team, even though we lost, can actually throw the fucking football over 35 yards. So
Well, I
that's
mean,
all I'm
it's
saying.
very reminiscent. I don't know if you guys remember that the Rams Patriots Super Bowl where the final score was like 13-3, and there were like zero like offense at all for the majority of the game in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's kind of what this felt like, except I think this was a little worse because at least at the very end you have like the Patriots that kind of assert themselves, and like the fourth quarter, but no team asserted themselves in this the entire game. It was just like the two quarterbacks having a terrorist off to see who could be worse. I genuinely, it was so bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, that's really all I got for that. I mean, all I can hope is that if these two teams are going to be the teams at the end of the year, I hope they can clean it up by then. But that's all we got for games this week. We did, however, want to revisit a conversation that we did before the season even started and kind of, I guess, compare it to where we started off with things. And we kind of want to go through, like, if the season ended right now, who's going to take home the awards? Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be this? So we might as well start it off straight up with the MVP. Stafford, Drake, May are obviously the top two, in my opinion, that are or even in the running. I'm going to give the slight edge to Drake May, and it's simply because of how bad the Patriots were last year. The fact that they have already doubled their win total and counting for the year. I mean, it's simply going to be that, and it's going to be another reason we have another vote later on down the line. But yeah, I mean, who thought that Drake May was going to do this? And Retro, don't put your hand up because it's not you. You can say this, you can say that. You were more high on their running back being the rookie of the year than you were on Drake May being the MVP. So
No. Before the beginning of this year, I was extremely high on the Patriots. I had them going 11-6. I got clowned for that take. It is absolutely true. I knew Drake May was going to be good. Him and Jaden Daniels are on very similar tiers. Jaden Daniels a little higher, but they're on very similar tiers. It was very
no, they're
clear.
not. They're
Yeah,
absolutely not. Drake May is playing football and Jaden Daniels isn't.
Well, and that's great. And Jaden Daniels has an NFC Championship appearance, and Drake May hasn't been in the playoffs. But it's neither here nor there. They're
One's
both on
gonna
the
get
same
an
tier.
MVP, the other one isn't. Anyways.
So Matthew, well, I didn't know his name changed to Matthew Stafford, but
No.
to me, the clear current winner of the MVP, and the odds makers agree with me. Stafford is the favorite, as he should be. Matthew Stafford this year has had 27 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. He hasn't thrown a pick since week 3. He's 6th in passing yards and 1st in touchdowns, despite a couple guys ahead of him in the passing yards category having played an extra game to him. He's had He's had an extremely hard schedule that has made things very difficult for him, whereas the aforementioned Drake May has had one of the easiest schedules in the past 20 years. His schedule is extremely easy and will continue to be easy for the rest of the year. Drake May has not played anywhere near the competition Matthew Stafford has, and the only games that are quote-unquote comp are the extraordinarily inconsistent Bills, and then the Buccaneers without Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. And that has been the 2 teams that they have beaten that they're basically attaching their whole brand to. Matthew Stafford has already had to play difficult team after difficult team. He continues to put up insane numbers. Matthew Stafford, to me, is the clear-cut number 1.
I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate you doing that, but again, you play by logic, I play by narrative. I know how these media awards work. I know how this goes. The Rams were good last year. Stafford's just continuing off of what he built on last year. That's the only reason I think I have Drake May with the edge is because of how bad the Patriots were.
And I will say, as far as narrative goes, the narrative is also there more for Stafford. It's Drake May's second year, so everybody knows Drake May will be able to get at this award many, many times. With Matthew Stafford, he's going into his final years, and Matthew Stafford doesn't have an MVP. So this is going to be one of those MVPs where it's what we call a here, damn MVP, where it's like, you have been so good for so long, here, damn, here's your award. And that is going to be where this is going to be how Matthew Stafford gets this award. The media knows Drake May will have another shot at it. But if you can make an argument for a veteran with like huge name value, most of the time that's going to be the guy who gets
P4,
it.
what do you think? Before I go,
I want to completely disagree with Retro here because he said it's clearly Matthew Stafford. I think it's clearly Drake May. For a lot of the things that Justin was saying, nobody expected. I mean, I'm not going to say nobody because I also thought the Patriots were a playoff team this year.
P4 and I agreed way too much on this podcast. I'm going to be sick or something.
I mean, I think you just got a little wiser over the last couple of months. But
no, you just got to turn the blinders off and realize that we know ball.
No, you have to understand in the level of like disagreement, P4 and my disagreement trumps P4 and your disagreement. That's how
he's not lying. He's not lying. But I think that the majority of people did not expect this from the Patriots. And now I've always been a Drake May believer. I didn't think he was going to be this good. I don't know how it changed in the last 2 weeks, but I know prior to these last 2 weeks, he was accounting for 77% of their offense, which is the most in the league. So, and if we're going off these weird narratives that people want to push, I mean, last year Josh Allen, he solely won it because he was carrying his team. Drake May is doing the exact same thing. That running game has been suspect up until 2 weeks ago. It was one of the worst in the league. I mean, that receiving core, nobody's really moved by that receiving core. Stephon Diggs has been playing great ball, don't get me wrong, but at the beginning of the year, nobody was moved by that receiving core. And I think Drake May, in terms of the eye test, he has the numbers clearly, but just in terms of the eye test, he's been just as good, if not better than Stafford, in my opinion. He has all the elite traits. He's fantastic in the pocket, extending plays. Even when he has to scramble, he looks pretty good. He can make any throw. And I think that the Patriots they're probably going to be the 1 seed. Like you said, they have a cupcake schedule. Their remaining schedule is also cupcake. And I think that the fact that they have a chance at the 1 seed is enough for me to say that he's the MVP. Matthew Stafford's been great and everything, but the Rams were always a contender for the Super Bowl. So
I agree with said precedent, but I'm gonna throw a different route because we love going by narratives, and I want to piss you guys off. Retro, please tell us who's the best running back in the league right now.
Oh, based. I thought you were going to go the Sam Darnold path.
No.
Best running back in the league, Jonathan Taylor, easily.
Jonathan Taylor should be the MVP. We need to get this. We need to stop making this a fucking quarterback award and start making it objectively fair for the other positions. Because after we realized that Indiana Jones isn't fucking real, that we realized the true value of valuability comes to running the football, where P4 was glazing Saquon Barkley. So when you were running a football and getting 165 yards against the Denver Broncos team, beating them and being a top three minimum defense in the league, that should move us. Getting bare minimum at least 2 touchdowns week in and week out. There's been some inconsistencies, but not as many inconsistencies as both Stafford putting the context of what P4 said a little bit earlier about second half of games and playing down to the competition, just like the Houston Texans. So the real test up to this point is if he's going to translate against same said Texas team, the Chiefs, Seattle 49ers. If he's getting over 100 yards and let's just say 2 touchdowns, he needs to be in this conversation. And I think that he should be. If Saquon didn't win it last year because of that historic season, we need to start setting the precedent down, because I think the MVP the past couple of years has been so nastily narrative driven that we need to start talking about other positions as valuable, and Jonathan Taylor should be breaking that mold. Now, I don't think he should have been the name, but he should be in the conversation for sure, just to throw a dark horse into this to be different.
Does that mean then, since you think he's going to be MVP or he's in the conversation, does that mean we can just skip Offensive Player of the Year, because when it doesn't go to him, that it's going to be Jonathan Taylor at Offensive Player of the Year?
No, because I think OPOY has 3 very solid candidates. So I think OPOY has 3 solid. Now, as far as OPOY is concerned, I think that I agree that it's Jonathan Taylor. That's obvious. That's my take. And for me, the top 3 was CMC, JSN, and Jonathan Taylor. So those were my 3 guys. But as far as Jonathan Taylor, he's first in rushing yards. He's first in rushing touchdowns. It's not even close. He has 15 rushing touchdowns. He's averaging 6 yards per carry, which is more than anyone in the top 37 running backs in terms of yardage. He's averaging 113.9 rushing yards per game, which clears everybody else. He has 0 fumbles. He's carried his team to an 8-2 record, despite being projected to win 8 games total, according to ESPN's FPI. His offense is the best in the league. Jonathan Taylor has single-handedly turned the Indianapolis Colts into a Super Bowl contender. If there is any individual that is 100% valid to win OPOY, and I agree with Jules, MVP, it is Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has that claim, and I really think it's hard to disagree. Like I said, my close second was CMC, my third was JSN, but to me, Jonathan Taylor takes this.
And that's simply the reason why I won't put CMC in this conversation, is because down this list, we have a category that he's a surefire lock for at this point. So there's no way that I think he's going to pass Jonathan Taylor and win the Offensive Player of the Year, unless he does something remarkable in this second half of the season and Jonathan Taylor absolutely skids out. Like you said, I have Jonathan Taylor, and it's not close. He has the Indiana Colts of all teams surging alongside the shocking play of Daniel Jones. So I can understand an MVP argument for him, but I'm going off of the narrative of it's a quarterback award, and it will be a quarterback award unless people do unbelievably ungodly things. And Jonathan Taylor's in the conversation for sure, no doubt in my mind. But like I said, Drake made MVP because he's a quarterback. That's the edge he has over him, is he is a quarterback, and that's what it gets voted on for the majority of the time. But yeah, like I said, Jonathan Taylor, if he doesn't win this, I'll be shocked.
I guess I'm the only one who thinks differently. I'm going with Jules' guy. I think JSN is the Offensive Player of the Year. I do think it's close. I think if Jonathan Taylor doesn't win it, it's a shame that he won't see an award this year because he's been that great. However, there's a couple of reasons why I think JSN is the Offensive Player of the Year. One, you said Jonathan Taylor is like by far and away leading in all these categories. JSN is doing the same. I mean, not in the touchdown category, but in terms of yardage, and then if you want to go into the advanced stats like yards per route run and things of that nature. And my second reason is as good as Jonathan Taylor is, he also has one of the best offensive lines in the league, and it's simply much easier to have a great season as a running back than it is as a receiver. The receiver is much more reliant on everything else in the offense, and than the running back. And I even think that without JS, I think that, and one of my main things is if we were to replace Jonathan Taylor with another elite guy like Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, CMC, they'll be put maybe not as great of a season, but they can replace the production, right? It's really hard for me to say that Jonathan Taylor is the MVP simply because OPOY, sorry. Simply because JSN is doing it. He was on pace. I don't know if he still is, but I know he was on pace to break the receiving yards record.
So are we saying that Saquon's OPOY last year is fraudulent because he ran behind a phenomenal line?
It's not that it's fraudulent, but the thing was that there wasn't another guy that like there wasn't another guy in this conversation. To me, JSN is definitely in this conversation, and he's my favorite simply because I think it's what he's doing, in my opinion, is simply more impressive. Has he had a game under 100 yards yet? Like the dude's insane.
Yes.
I think he's OPOY for sure.
To double down to what P4 just said, I value wide receivers as OPOY. The person that deserved it last year was the Triple Crown winner, Jamar Chase. I don't care what you guys have to say. I think that JSN is by far the offensive player of the year by advanced statistics, being the most explosive wide receiver. That Justin, remind me, said slot merchant is being the best explosive wide receiver in the league. Weird how that happens anyways.
I just want to be clear. We're going to keep harping on this, but I will say it until you let it go.
No.
He was a slot merchant last year until his number one got hurt, and then he became the route tree. So he was a slot merchant until he became the number one option. Tell me I'm wrong.
Regardless of the fact,
all right.
JSN,
that's what I thought.
JSN is by and far the most valuable offensive player this year because 45% of Sam Darnold's passing yards has gone to one guy. That is by and far the largest amount of sample size. You can claim Sam Darnold is a JSN merchant, and that is statistically true because of how open JSN has been being created in these opportunities. Now, is it more valuable to run it behind an offensive line? That's a debate. But wide receiver is a dependent position, while running back is an independent position. So I believe it is more valuable to do that. Yes, it is way more independent to be a running back than it is a wide receiver, brother.
Not even a little bit. The running back position is extremely dependent. It's dependent on the following things. A, that you have a pass game that can work. Because if you don't have a pass game that can work, you're cooked as a running back.
What sets up the pass game, Retro?
What sets up the run game? If you can't pass, you can't...
No.
Nothing. The run game sets itself up.
Wait a minute. So you're, to be clear, you're saying that if you can't pass, you can't run. It's not true. What happened when Jalen Hurts went out of the game and everybody stacked the box? What happened?
What's been happening? What's been happening with Indiana? Where's that pass game, brother?
Daniel Jones, the guy that's I think either leading the league in passing or is like second in passing. Is that who we're talking about? Yeah, the pass game is doing well. They go off of each other. They're symbiotic. To say one is more independent than the other is insane. No. Jonathan Taylor, and here's the other thing. JSN has way more help. JSN has the better quarterback. His wide receiver 2 is Cooper Kupp. Jonathan Taylor's running back 2 is irrelevant because he's a running back.
Alex Pierce is out targeting, out receiving, out route running Cooper Kupp this year. Alex Pierce is.
No, but that's the difference. The difference is JSN is a receiver, so he gets to get help. Jonathan Taylor's a running back.
You have to be schemed open. You have to be schemed open.
No, hold on. you have to be reliant as a running back on A, your play calling, B, your pass game, C, your offensive line. There are so many things you have to be reliant on.
Seattle's significantly worse in every category compared to Indianapolis.
Well,
That's why he's
that's
more
the other
valuable.
The difference between Jonathan Taylor and between JSN is JSN was on a team that was favored to win
Before
more
this is
games
normally where I go to sleep.
and a team that was favored to be
Not
better than the Colts were. So as far as this is concerned, Jonathan Taylor's offense is currently
And
first in the
good
league.
thing we don't got being media narratives, brother.
Jonathan Taylor's offense that is being carried by him is first in the league by every metric. JSN's offense that is being carried by him is sixth, which is a good offense, but is not where Jonathan Taylor's offense is. Jonathan Taylor is the guy, and if we're being honest, CMC is a better offensive threat than JSN is. So if we're really talking about like where JSN is, he is third. He is having a great year, but he is third. We have to be very careful when he say he's far and away the OPOY guy. He's third right now.
No, he's not third.
And Retro, I just want to ask. You said that JSN has more help. So let's just go through this. The Colts have at least a top 5 O-line in the league. Okay,
Sure.
Right? And you're saying Sam Darnold's better than Daniel Jones. However, you also brought up that Daniel Jones is top 3 in passing yards. He also has Tyler Warren, who's arguably been the best tight end in the league this year. Michael Pittman is another solid guy, like Jules said. Alec Pierce. He also has the better play caller, and that defense. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not better than the Seahawks, but the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor has more help, and at the end of the day, he does play in a more independent position because as much as you want to say the pass game opens up the run game, while it does, the run game more often than not is more impactful in opening up the pass game than vice versa, right? And the Seahawks run game it's definitely nothing special. I'm not gonna say it's been terrible, but it hasn't been good. So literally the focal point of that offense is JSN. You know he's getting the ball, and it's the same thing with Jonathan Taylor, but they have much more. Yeah, and talking about CMC, just to point out, I think he's also a better offensive threat than Jonathan Taylor if we're talking in totality, because that San Francisco offense does not run without CMC. He's literally like he's their number 1 receiver and their number 1 running back. And
I can grant that. That's actually fair. I can grant that. If you think CMC is better than Jonathan Taylor this year, that's fair. CMC already has 1,400 combined yards. He's on pace for easily over 2,000. So I can actually grant you that. But that's kind of my point. Jonathan Taylor, CMC, JSN. That is the levels right now. JSN is here, which is really good. It's a solid third. CMC is here. Jonathan Taylor's here. Honestly, CMC and Jonathan Taylor are like right here. And then JSN is like here. It's not an insult to JSN. But there is a reason why last year Saquon won the OPOY over Jamar Chase. It is because the running back is more important and it's harder to have good seasons as. That's how it is.
Well, Retro, we could let you tangent forever, but we do need to move on. So, the defensive player of the year, for me, this one's a lock, and this guy's a standalone, and he plays on arguably the worst team in the history of the NFL. It's Myles Garrett.
Yep.
I don't. 15 sacks in 10 games. Besides LeBron coming back, this has been the second greatest thing that Cleveland has ever produced. So, I just don't think there's anything touching this one. I feel like this is the blowover category, unless Jules wants to throw out a random Seattle player that he thinks is just head and shoulders better than a front runner. But hey, if you want to try, go ahead.
I mean, why is Micah not being mentioned?
The inconsistencies, the fall off in Green Bay's defense of the last couple weeks. I mean, Micah's had maybe 4 or 5 bright spots the whole year. And they come at pretty big times, but he's also got an insanely, immensely more talented defense. It's just Myles Garrett.
Honestly, Micah is being like almost equally rushing, at like almost the same rushing value as Rashawn Gary.
I believe by the odds, Myles Garrett is the most heavily favored, and then behind him is Micah and Aiden, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. Like, Micah's in the conversation, but it's just. To me, it's just such a Myles Garrett award right now that I don't even know if there's a conversation to be had about anybody else.
I agree. Well, I mean, especially given that the Browns' defense is second in the league in yards allowed per game. It's first in passing yards per game. And then you mentioned like some of the craziest games. He had a 6-sack game against the Patriots and a 4-sack game against the Ravens, and that's while he's being doubled basically every play.
Every play.
And it's not just that. Their defensive unit is top 10 in pressures, sacks, third down stops. He's on pace to break the single-season sack record. And also this year, he has set the record for most seasons in a row with 12-plus sacks with 6. I mean, the guy is just one of the craziest like forces we've ever seen. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's a conversation for this award. I think it's Myles Garrett. However, Quinyon Mitchell. That's all I'm gonna say.
Anyway, all right. Jules, I can validate the Micah argument. It's just I feel like Miles has just had too good of a year. But we can fly right through that. It's just he's on a tear. It's a generational peak. It's one of the best peaks we've seen by a DN in a long time. So, this one is where I think things are going to get a little interesting in the conversations. Is the rookie offensive player of the year? I've stood tall on one receiver the entire year. And he still is probably got a great case for this award. In Emeka Egbuka, I think he still has a great case for this. However, if Jackson Dart comes back from this concussion and continues to play as well as he has in the shitty situation that is the New York Giants, it's going to be really hard to not give him this award.
I mean, I don't. I have Dart in 4th right now. That's my ranking. So I have Emeka Egbuka 1, Tet 2, and then Tyler Warren 3. I think that as far as Tet's concerned, he's 6th in the league in receiving right now. He's playing great. But I would give the edge to Emeka Egbuka because it's one thing to kind of like when your wide receiver 1 and 2 are hurt, like they were in Tampa, it's one thing to kind of come in and like lend a hand, and just kind of be there until those guys get back. It's another thing to entirely usurp the position and say, I am wide receiver 1 now. Like Mike Evans, that guy that you've had for like a decade, I'm better than him right now as a rookie. And Emeka Egbuka has done that. He's become the clear best receiver on their team. He's 12th in the league in receiving yards and 8th in the league in receiving touchdowns, despite missing a game due to a nagging injury. His team is 6-4. They're top of the division. He's just been a phenomenal piece. I really think that all of the things that he's done, and especially the taking of the wide receiver 1 position, put him there. But to me, I really think you have a fair case for anybody in the 4 I just mentioned. If you think it's Tet or Warren or Dart or Egbuka, any of those guys I think are entirely fair.
I would say I would probably lean towards Tyler Warren, but the guy that unfortunately had a slow start because of off the field issues that is not even biased, that I do think that should be in the conversations because I just had to look it up. He is actually 5th in odds, is Quinshon Judkins. I think Quinshon has been quietly having a really good year. He's been inconsistent because of the Browns' offensive line just being dog shit. But since then, even though he's had inconsistencies, I think he's solidified himself as like the Nick Chubb replacement. And I've been big on Quinshon for a while. Hopefully, whatever off the field issues got solved. But I think for the future, because we shit on fucking Ashton Genty earlier, I think that it should probably be Cam then Quinshon as the 2 running backs coming out of this past draft that we should be talking about for the future. So hopefully, I don't think he should be favored. He's not my top 3 or 4, but just to throw some love out there because the Browns are in a dog shit situation. I think Quinshon should be talked about a little bit more if they rely heavily on the run if Shador is the QB.
And I think it'll be interesting to see with the Browns going forward if they can put pieces together because between Judkins and Sampson, I mean, they could have a good tandem going forward. They got 2 solid. I mean, Judkins has been head and shoulders better, but between the 2 of them, they could be a really good tandem going forward if they can figure out how to put it together on offense.
Yeah, well, and Harold Fannin as well. You've got really good young weapons. I think Jerry Jeudy could be really good if you unleash him in the right way. Like they really do have like a really
Like if they
solid.
just got him a quarterback or something.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, if they could just get a quarterback, dude, if they could just get a quarterback to unleash their offensive weapons, their defense is already so good that the Browns would instantly be a contender.
If they could just open training camp with a veteran and have drafted 2 rookie quarterbacks, that the veteran could lead these 2 rookie quarterbacks and hopefully develop both of them. Instead, your veteran gets traded to a division rival, your left-handed one gets hurt, and then you have shit. Damn. Oh,
yeah.
wait. Oops.
You know, unironically, great guy for this Browns team this year would have been your guy, Justin. If you airdrop Aaron Rodgers on this team and you say, hey,
Bye.
you got
Bye. Bye.
We're just like, hey,
Bye.
Rod, who's your guys? You got Quinshon Judkins, Jerry Jeudy, and Harold Fannin. Go cook. I think he probably could make this team into a playoff team. I really don't think
I don't know about all that.
I think he could. With
Well,
this defense, man, I think he could.
He could get them 6 wins. I don't think he can get them into the playoffs.
I think he'd get him 10. That's what I think. I think he'd get him 10.
All right. Well, live off that name power. P4, what you got?
I agree with Jules here. I think it's Tyler Warren. He's on a similar place to Brock Bowers was last year, and I think that he's actually he brings a little more to the table than Brock Bowers does. He's a better blocker. The Colts use him all over the field. They had him running wildcat. They have him doing Puka Nacua stuff where he's running through the C gap to get into a sail route. I think Tyler Warren's the offensive rookie of the year. I do want to shout out Emeka Ibuka though because me personally, hey, it might be a hot take. I thought once he got drafted, he was the wide receiver 1 in Tampa Bay. I already thought he was better than Mike
That's
Evans.
because you hate Mike Evans.
I don't hate him, bro. I don't hate him, but Emeka Ibuka, he's a complete receiver, and I'm always value that more than a guy like Mike Evans. So.
All right. Rookie DPOY. There have been a lot of names I've seen mentioned in this race, and I mean a lot of names. The front runner guy right now for me is Abdul Carter, but if Seattle's defense stays as strong as they have, there's no way you can't hand this to Amori. There's no way you can't.
It's neither one. It's neither one, and thank God the betting odds agree with me on this. It's neither one. So the actual defensive rookie of the year, and the betting odds agree they have him at first, is Carson Schwessinger. So Schwessinger,
he's in second on ESPN's odds, but hey.
Yeah, well, the average. So the reason why is because Carson Schwessinger has actually been probably the second most important guy on this Browns defense outside of Myles Garrett. He is, as a rookie, is top 15 in tackles right now. He has 1.5 sacks. He has 2 interceptions. He has 8 TFLs, which is the most, which are tied for the second most out of the top 30 tackle leaders. This guy is in the backfield insane as a rookie. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He has a great eye for the ball. He can break up a pass. He can pick you off. He can hit you in the backfield. He can force fumbles. He's making tackles constantly. He's a very low missed tackle rate, which is why he's top 15 in tackles. This award, to me, should go to him. Abdul Carter hasn't done anything to deserve it. His sacks numbers have been extremely low, especially considering the pedigree that people were putting him at. I think all the hype is just
Why are his sacks numbers low? Just curious.
I think it's because Abdul Carter was extremely overhyped.
I think it's because Abdul Carter's getting doubled and Brian Burns is having a phenomenal breakout season on that line.
And that's fantastic that he's getting doubled. Brian Burns is getting more doubles, and there are rookies doing more. You can make an argument that it's because he's getting double, and that's fine, but that doesn't give you an excuse. Carson Schwessinger is the guy this year. I think that Emin Wari is probably a comfortable second, but to me, Carson Schwessinger has been by far the most valuable rookie.
Jules, in the shortest time amount possible, can you please just tell him why he's wrong?
Nick Emenwari, rated as the 6th best safety in the NFL, being lined up at safety, at defensive end, at middle linebacker, outside linebacker, in guarding against running backs. He's doing what Carson is doing, but literally around the field. Mike McDonald's using him as a Cam Chancellor clone, and he's being graded as the best safety in the league week in, week out, and at minimum top 4. His PFF grades clear Carson. He has been way better advanced analytically, and he is by and far the more valuable person to that defense compared to Carson Swearinger by far.
No, I mean it's not. Carson Schlesinger is being the lead linebacker, the middle linebacker of that team. He is the leader of that defense. He's the guy that is literally making all the call-outs to everybody, telling people where to be. He's doing it as a rookie. Nick Emenwari has done a lot. That's true. I don't use PFF rankings. That's pretty nasty work because PFF is often very wrong. But if we're going to use PFF rankings, one guy that was rated ahead of him for most of the year was Jonas Sanker, University of Virginia safety, that is now on the New Orleans Saints as a rookie. So if we're going to use PFF grades, we can talk about Jonas Sanker and how he's kind of been on the same level of Emenwari as a safety, but he plays for the Saints, so nobody notices. I don't really use PFF grades much. My argument about Schlesinger is purely based off stats, and I think that as the betting markets agree, Schlesinger should be the guy.
All right, P4, you go. Nobody cares about Virginia players, so go ahead, P4.
I think this is one of like the more tighter races out of these awards.
I agree.
I would. Schlesinger's just got hurt, so I guess if we're talking about up until this point, I would sort of agree that it's him, but he got hurt, so my next pick would be Abdul Carter. His sack numbers are really low, but his pressure rate it's fantastic. His quick pressure is also fantastic, so I would give it to Abdul Carter. Nick Emenwari, he definitely deserves some consideration, but I think those two guys are above him in my opinion.
No Jahad Campbell Glaze? What the fuck?
Nah.
Jahad Campbell. He ain't touching that one. He knows.
Jahad Campbell lost. He's losing all the playing time now that Nakobe Dean's back. So.
All right. Comeback player. If you guys don't have these two names on your list, I'll be honestly shocked. It's CMC and Aiden. I don't know if anybody else is even in the category to be talked about. CMC, we talked about it earlier with OPOY. I mean, he is the San Francisco 49ers. Aiden came back and has played just about as good as we, at least the three of us, thought he would, that he could be in a DPOY conversation. It's one of these two. I don't know who you give it to. I think they'll lean to McCaffrey just because of how much impact he has been for the Niners. So it's like I said, this one's a coin flip, and I don't care who you give it to. I know that Jules doesn't want to see McCaffrey or the Niners have any wins this year, so he's going to pick Aiden. I understand that, but it's just, like I said, you flip this one. I literally have their names and say, I'm not choosing. It can go either way.
Here's the thing: the betting markets actually disagree. I agree with you. The betting markets disagree. They say Dak is second. I don't buy Dak at all.
I don't buy Dak at all.
I think his team's been too bad, but I agree. It's CMC. The main thing about Hutch is Hutch has been great, but he's only 10th in sacks. A lot of people thought it when he came back he was just kind of going to be a firebrand, and he hasn't really held up. And I did. That's true. I thought he was going to be insane. And he has been really good, but he hasn't been CMC good. CMC, he's 13th in the league in rushing, and he's 9th in the league in receiving. I can't remember the last time I've seen a back that is top 13 in both of those categories, but here we are.
It was probably CMC in Carolina.
Yeah, honestly. The whole offense runs through him. He has over 1,400 yards in 11 games, on pace for well over 2,000. Which, again, I'm completely fine if you want to say he deserves the OPOY, because this season has been insane. The whole offense runs through him, which is why his starting quarterback gets hurt.
That's because they keep sacrificing players to keep him healthy.
Which is true. But yeah, their starting quarterback comes in, everybody's like, oh no, what are we going to do? Mac Jones comes in, they don't even miss a beat, because CMC is their real offense. He's also, his offense is currently 10th in the league in yards per game. Which is extremely impressive, again, given the fact that he is basically the offense. So to me, it's like, in this comeback player of the year convo, I agree with you. It's either Hutch or him, and I give the edge to CMC.
It's Hutch. That's all I'll say.
All right. Pat, what you got?
So I basically agree with everything you guys are saying. I think if we're going off statistics and impact, it's for sure CMC. I think Kyle Shanahan and CMC is like, it's got to be like one of those like coaching player duos, like one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
But however, if I was to pick, if I had a vote, I would pick Aiden Hutchinson simply for the fact that that was a gnarly injury, and yeah. I think that you know how they gave it to Alex Smith and he basically didn't do anything, but he just came back
Yep.
from that.
Whoa, wait.
Yeah,
No,
he
no,
did.
no, retro,
Wait,
retro. We
hold
don't have
on.
time for this. Retro, we don't have time for this.
Alex Smith led us to the playoff.
Got it.
Yes, he deserved it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So he
Before
basically,
our respect's sake, just
yeah,
we're moving on
for
before
sure.
you get him riled up any farther. Coach of the year.
No, stop.
I have 3 names down, and I have one of them highlighted because he's just head and shoulders my front runner. It's Mike. Vrabel has it. I mean, it shouldn't be anybody else. I have Shane Steichen, however you say his last name. And I absolutely am still doubling down on my take to start the year of Ben Johnson. Because, again, I don't care what you guys say, the Bears are winning football games, and he's put them in this position.
Okay, so you were close. There are 2 names. That is correct. It is Shane Steichen and it is Mike Vrabel. Those are the 2 guys. This is a very, very. This is for me is easily the closest. I give the edge to Shane Steichen because
Apparently my phone doesn't like my take either.
Yeah. No, so I give the edge to Steichen. Steichen and Vrabel are clearly the only 2 people in this conversation, and I would give it to Steichen.
Only?
Yes. Ben Johnson is nowhere near this conversation.
You're just wrong.
As far as this is concerned, he has one of the best records in the league, despite having Daniel Jones as his quarterback. This Colts team has been a shock to everyone. Under his watch, his offense is first in the league in yards per game, first in total yards, first in points scored, first in points per game, the 3rd best rushing offense in the league. This offense has been absolutely humming
Jonathan
under
Taylor
Steichen.
Merchant.
The culture has been fantastic this year. Despite having Daniel Jones at quarterback, he's still managing to make Daniel Jones look really good, being top 7 in passing yards in the entire league this year. His play calling, like everything that he does, everything with the culture, it's all phenomenal. And then I would also say, as far as the reason why I give the edge to him over Vrabel, Vrabel has done great for the culture, and that is true. So for the vast majority of the Patriots schedule and for the rest of it, it's all Mickey Mouse. The Colts actually have had to play difficult teams. It's a difficult schedule. He's still doing really well. And more than that, the Patriots were predicted in the offseason as one of the very common underdog teams. They were a team that a lot of people said, hey, watch out for. They have an easy schedule. They might pop up. No one predicted the Colts would do this. No one.
Nope.
There were very, very few people that were like, hey, I can't wait to see the Daniel Jones-led Colts next year. A lot of people thought it was going to be a rebuild year. Everybody was clowning them that their quarterback convo was between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. And under Shane Steichen, they are now one of a Super Bowl contender. So for me, I give the slight edge to Steichen.
I feel like the only reason that we hate this so much, though, and like the thing is because we saw Daniel Jones play for the Giants, and I think we're starting to see Daniel Jones is actually a competent quarterback. I think it's just anybody that plays for the Giants is the same thing what people have seen for past Bears quarterbacks is just, oh, cool, you're playing there. You're just dead to the league now. Congratulations.
I don't know. I mean, Daniel Jones, like, competent is a nice word.
He's a system quarterback.
Yeah, but even then, like, a system quarterback is Bo Nix. Daniel Jones is not on Bo Nix's level. He's, like, lower. But week in and week out, for the most part, he can be decent enough to kind of hand the ball off and, like, gently push the ball down the field. He can probably do that, I think. But,
so you're saying he's a slightly better J.J. McCarthy?
Yeah. Actually, yes. That's actually, yes, that is correct.
You're insane.
That is
Anyway,
exactly
Jules, what do you got?
I would go towards Vrabel. Vrabel's culture setting, I think, has always been impactful wherever he's been. Both with the quarterback and the defensive side of the ball. And it's obviously leaning back to the fucking Patriots. I would lean towards Vrabel here. I think the culture setting, you make a good argument about Shane Steichen, but Steichen has done this with QBs who have been older and in different systems in different places before. So it's nothing new. It's been nothing new. Vrabel's first time being a head coach coming back from the disaster he came from Tennessee. He helped Ryan Tannehill and that defense be really good. Now he's getting a young guy into MVP talks, and a defense who's top 10 with young cores and getting them to be playing smart football, just like how Bill Belichick was doing. Vrabel's doing a lot better job, so I think it should be Vrabel. For me, at least, I think it's the two, but I just lean towards Vrabel, and it's not. I wouldn't be mad either way.
Pat, what do you got?
I would pick Steichen personally. One, former Eagle, so you know how that goes. Two, the Colts offense was historically good this year, like to start off the year, so that's another thing. But I think when you said three names, Justin, you got me a little excited because I thought you were gonna say Kyle Shanahan personally, because I think Kyle Shanahan should definitely be in these conversations. He's in that.
P4, I don't think you understand. I hate Kyle Shanahan as much as Jules hates Harbaugh, so there's no way he'd be in my category.
Oh man, I mean,
Before, I actually agree with you.
that 49ers team is, bro. They can't stay healthy for nothing, bro.
Now we're just rage baiting. So if we're gonna get to the rage bait part of it,
It's not rage bait at all.
that covers the awards side of things. P4, I highly doubt you've made it to this part of our podcast before. This is the most entertaining by far. You're definitely allowed to chime in, but if you want to sit back and watch these two idiots argue with each other, it's my favorite part of this entire show. We do either pick 3, cut 5s, or would you rathers, and I get to they work together as a team, but they end up fighting each other harder than anything. So it's the greatest thing ever. So for this one, I have a pick 3, cut 5, a would you rather, and then basically, Jules.
Wait, you Protector of the Year?
No.
Protector of the Year?
Protector,
No.
this guy.
No,
Hey, it's Clay Nelson, by the way.
I respect that you asked that question.
That's insane.
It's Clay Nelson, by the way.
That's
Jules and Retro, I do have another one of the things that you guys just get absolutely blown away by every week now. The last 2 weeks have been really interesting. But the first one is a pick 3, cut 5, and because of our guest being P4 and being an EGLESES fan, it's all-time Eagles.
Okay.
So pick 3, cut 5, all-time Eagles. The first one up is David Akers.
Cut.
Shout out to him. I've met him before. He went to my grandmother's church.
Oh, that's actually cool.
Shout out David Akers.
The next one up is Fletcher Cox.
Cut. That's a hard cut. That's a hard cut. But
That's a hard cut. I would agree.
Mind you, there are players that have played on different teams. This is strictly their Eagles tenure.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's a hard
next, and P4, this one might hit you a little deeper just because he was a phenomenal Eagle. Brian Westbrook.
Ooh. Brian Westbrook really was a phenomenal Eagle.
He's an overrated Eagle. He's
I
overrated.
agree with you. I'd still
Wait,
cut.
what is it? Pick what? Cut who?
It's pick 3.
Pick 3, cut 5.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so I would cut here. We still have 2 cuts. So
I would
I'm
cut
okay.
Brian Westbrook.
Donovan McNabb is up next.
Oh, God.
That's a keep.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's like the second best Eagles quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. I'm okay with that.
Behind Nick Foles. Okay. Thank you.
Behind Randall Cunningham. Yeah.
Big Dick Nick.
Next is John Runyon.
Ooh, I think he's the best offensive lineman in Eagles history.
It's definitely a fair, but
I've met him before. I would be so nasty to.
But Jules, like Jason Kelsey though,
I think he's better than Kelsey.
Lane Johnson.
I think he's better than Lane.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Him and Michael Strahan, dog. That had aura.
I need an answer.
I don't know. I'll go where you want to go with this.
You guys can defer to the Eagles fan here.
Yeah, you know what?
He also doesn't know how nasty my lists are.
That's actually true. P4.
P4 doesn't know John Runyon bullshit.
I know who he is. Now, do I know if he should be cut or not? I would cut him. I would cut him. So.
All right, Jules, it's up to you, bro. What do you think?
There's too many Eagles greats.
It would hurt my heart if I cut him. So I want to keep John Runyon.
I'm okay keeping him. That's fine. He's
fine.
one of the greatest ever in Eagles history.
So you have one keep left.
That's fine, and 2 cuts. Okay.
LaShawn McCoy.
That's a cut. That's fine. Shady was good on the Eagles. You've got way better Eagles.
Chuck Bednarik.
Chuck Bednarik. Ooh.
Yep.
I would cut.
I will let you know right now, Weapon X is not on the list.
I would cut.
Hand to God, Weapon X is not on the list.
Okay, I'd still cut though. There are Eagles that I think you could put on here, and the fact that you said this is just about their tenure makes me think a specific person is coming up. So
A specific person?
Okay.
Yes, so I want to cut.
Who's that specific person?
I'm not going to say who that specific person is. I'm waiting to see if he comes up.
Well, you cut Akers,
I'm
cut
lagging,
Cox,
bro.
cut Westbrook, cut McCoy, cut Bednarik to keep McNabb, Runyon, and Reggie White.
Boom! Boom, baby!
W.
I knew it was either going to be Reggie or T.O. Oh, let's go.
All
W.
right, I think that's the first time you guys have gotten the list right. Good for you.
Let's go.
Pretty solid. Can't cut Shady though. That's nasty.
All right. Speaking of the P4 theme, would you rather Jalen Hurts edition?
This is gonna be fantastic.
Okay.
First name up is Jackson Dart.
I'd rather have
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Okay. Bo Nix.
I'm fucking lagging.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. Dak Prescott.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. I'd rather have Jalen.
Sam Darnold.
I'd rather have Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
Jared Goff.
Jalen Hurts.
Still rather have Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I'm liking what I'm hearing right now.
JD5.
JD5. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jules, talk to him.
You're lying. You'd rather have Jalen.
You need an answer. It's got to be unanimous. We've been over this.
Jaden Daniels is by far and away. Jalen Hurts, if he was stuck with what Washington had last year, Jalen Hurts probably would have won 6 games. Jaden Daniels is
Hell
far.
no, you're crazy.
Jaden Daniels far. We don't even have to, bro. Let's be so for real. It's Jaden Daniels.
It's Jalen Hurts.
You know it's not Jalen Hurts. You're aware of that.
It's Jalen Hurts.
It is not Jalen fullback Hurts.
We'll come back. We'll come back. Jalen Hurts, or Justin Herbert.
Probably.
It just depends on the scenario, bro. Like,
I'm not even a big Justin Herbert guy. I'd still probably go Hurts.
as a pure quarterback, I'd infinitely rather have Herbert. But in a playoff situation, I'm taking
going on with
Hurts,
this thing?
so I would take Hurts.
Yeah.
I would take Hurts.
All right. Jalen Hurts or Matthew Stafford?
Matthew Stafford.
Jalen Hurts.
I couldn't really hear you guys.
I'm taking Stafford over Hurts. Stafford is better than Hurts.
I'm getting Hurts over Stafford.
Oh wow, Jules.
No, you're not. No,
Yes,
wait, what was the Herbert take? Sorry, I couldn't really hear you guys.
They took Hurts.
Yeah, barely. I think Herbert's a better quarterback, but Hurts in playoff situations is going to be better.
And now we're at Jalen Hurts versus Matthew Stafford.
Stafford is clearly the better option because the only thing Jalen Hurts has is playoff experience and performance, and Matthew Stafford can do that too. And as a quarterback, it's not even...
And the only time we saw Matthew Stafford in Super Bowl situations outplay second-year Joe Burrow, while Jalen Hurts outperformed Patrick Mahomes in both Super Bowls. So I'm taking a more clutch player than Matt Stafford.
Jalen Hurts also has the elevation ability of a toothpick, whereas Matthew Stafford can elevate anybody.
He elevated in the biggest game in 2022. He lost one fumble. He outplayed Mahomes.
But he doesn't elevate anybody. Yes, he can elevate himself. Matthew Stafford elevates his receivers, which is why we've seen some of the all-time best receiving seasons be under Calvin Johnson, under Cooper Kupp, under Puka Nacua, because he elevates people. Jalen Hurts can't do that. That is a very clear thing. Matthew Stafford is going to be better on a neutral site. Give me Matthew Stafford.
Ceiling raising is more valuable than floor raising.
I'm taking Stafford.
All right, we're going inconclusive. Got it.
gotta be.
All right, Jules and Retro, you guys went through this list 2 weeks now on different quarterbacks. Obviously, we're with the Eagles fans, so we stay with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts has targeted 30 different receivers for touchdowns since being in college all the way through the pros. Before you're allowed to get in on this, basically there's 30 receivers on this board, and Hurts has completed a touchdown to them, whether it was in college or in the pros.
Okay.
Well, I don't know anything about college football, so you guys got that.
Okay, as far as NFL, just knock off the easy one. AJ Brown, obviously.
Yep.
Smitty,
Yeah.
Monta Smith,
Dallas Goddard,
Dallas
Yep.
Goddard.
Grant.
Are you counting running backs that he's thrown a touchdown to?
Huh?
Are you counting running backs he's thrown a touchdown to as well?
It's anybody he's thrown a touchdown to through college or the pros.
So
Grant.
Saquon.
Grant C. What's his last name? P4.
Calcaterra.
Calcaterra.
Huh?
Grant
Calcaterra.
Calcaterra.
Hasn't thrown a touchdown to him.
Dang. Saquon though, I'm assuming?
Jahad Dotson.
Hasn't thrown a touchdown to Saquon.
Yeah, he has.
Not according to the list.
Yeah, dude, he literally did week 1 last year.
That's crazy. If that, J-Dot for sure. He's had to have thrown
Jahad
Dotson.
Jahad Dotson, yep.
Shout out Jahan Dotson.
CD Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, true. Who else could he? Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
Kenneth Gainwell.
Kenneth Gainwell.
We're making some ground here.
You guys are really good at gaining ground and then going nowhere.
That's very true.
Did he play with DeAndre Swift?
I don't remember.
He played with him.
Oh, but he didn't score a touchdown to him.
Okay.
I know there's 30 names on this list. I think I know 28 of them.
Huh.
You got the King Greg Ward.
Greg Ward.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking too.
Yeah, P4. We need to rely on you a little bit. We need your help here. This is gonna be hard.
Yeah, sure. You got Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey.
There we go.
Yo, guys, he threw a receiver to he threw a touchdown pass to one of the greatest receivers of all time.
Oh, Julio Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Has he thrown one to himself?
No.
Okay.
Has he thrown
P4,
one to himself?
after that first week, dog, I have to ask. Who else? Some random, like, wide receivers. Or, like,
I'm trying to think. He played with Ramondre in college. Did he throw a touchdown pass to Ramondre?
Nope.
Okay.
That's nasty.
I'm just trying to think. Maybe he did.
I'll give you a hint on a college guy. He's in jail right now.
Oh, Ruggs. Henry
Yep.
Ruggs.
Free my guy Ruggs, man. He didn't do anything wrong.
What? We do not condone the actions of Henry Ruggs on this channel. We do not condone the actions of
Anyway.
Henry Ruggs.
You got Jalen Rager.
Jalen Rager.
That's good comms right there. That was a good draft pick, by the way, to draft him over
Terrible.
Who else? I don't know. It's like college wide receivers.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
Nice.
Damn.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think college guys. Alabama. Cam Sims. I just need to think Alabama.
I don't know in any of the college, but I know he also threw a touchdown to Quez Watkins.
He does have Quez Watkins on the list.
See, I forgot Quez Watkins existed for
Yeah,
some reason.
that's kind of fucking gross.
Jerry Judy. You heard of Jerry Judy?
He does have Jerry Judy.
It's the only name I would have got.
Damian Harris. Was he on that Alabama team?
Nope, not with a touchdown from him.
Tag on it. Okay.
One of these guys ran the lights out of the stadium on Christmas.
Deshaun
Jackson.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know he had Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Mind you, his first touchdown I have on here from college is from 2016, which is crazy.
That is kind of nasty.
Okay. Yeah, he had a loading running back core. That was the year they had Brian Robinson?
Nope.
Najee?
Nope.
I don't think he played then.
I think I thought. Wait, let me test. Josh Jacobs?
Nope.
No.
I thought that was the year they had that insane running back core. Jerome Ford was on that running back core too, though I doubt he has one.
You got to remember, those are more. That's a little earlier. That's like the Tua time.
Okay, so I gotta think more like. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to think.
Journeyman tight end 1, tight end 2, most famous for being a Dolphin.
Journeyman tight end.
I think he's played with 3 or 4 different teams.
There's a name that's coming to my head for tight ends, but it's like evading me.
What?
It starts with an I.
It ends with an I.
Okay, so that's not the guy I'm thinking of. Is there another tight end on there that starts with an I?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Phone is rapidly decreasing battery.
Yeah, same as Jordan one.
I have no idea. It starts with an I, or it ends with an I.
Oh! I was thinking of Irv Smith.
That's not it.
Okay.
There is a junior on this list, however.
What?
Oh wait, is Miles Sanders on this list?
No.
Interesting.
That's nasty. Is there any offensive lineman?
I'm gonna knock out a couple college names for you guys, just because I don't think you're gonna get them. Lee Morris.
No shot I would have gotten that.
Jaden Hasselwood.
No shot I would have gotten that.
Theo Weezy Jr.
Who? You said Wheezy? They had Lil Wayne on the team?
Yeah. Charleston Rambo.
No.
Hit the Charleston on him, bro. That's crazy.
Hale Hentages.
You're not even naming real people, bro.
That's what you think. Trayvon Diggs.
Okay.
Trayvon Diggs.
Threw a touchdown to Trayvon Diggs?
I don't know. I don't even know how you say this guy's name. Garrett Geeter.
Oh,
Ew.
you know, I actually know that dude.
Darius Stewart.
Darius Stewart.
OJ Howard.
I should have got OJ.
Oh. Yeah.
Robert Foster.
No.
The rest are NFL guys. There are 6 of them.
Don't lie to me.
The tight end that ended with an I is Mike Gesicki.
Wow.
Mike Gesicki.
What
the hell?
Gordon didn't know that, bro.
Jamison Crowder.
Jamison Crowder.
Throw a tutty to my boy.
These had to be in college, bro. There's no way.
Olamide Zaccheaus.
Oh yeah, Zaccheaus, yeah.
Oh, bro, my boy, Olamide.
Hell yeah.
Marquise Goodwin.
That's fucking disgusting.
That's nasty. That's actually nasty.
Travis Fulgham.
Travis Fulgham. Yes, sir. I was waiting for one of you guys to say it.
And then John Hightower was the last one.
Who?
Hey, I'm just saying, you know all those who's and who the hell are these guys? I'm just saying he's elevating these guys. I don't know.
Wait, is he really elevating John Hightower?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, basically because my shit's about to die, let's speed through pick 'em quick for the week. I'll just read the games. You guys can give who you think, who we got coming. Buffalo at Houston.
Buffalo.
Houston.
What?
Buffalo. Pittsburgh at Chicago.
Pittsburgh.
Chicago.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh by 2 touchdowns, by the way.
Hell no.
New England at Cincy.
No.
Oh,
Make
Justin-
your pick.
Justin,
Make your
pick.
no. Justin, make your pick.
Uh-huh.
Chicago.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
Yeah,
Fake
okay, we'll
Steelers
see.
fan, by the way.
New England at Cincy.
New England.
New England.
New England.
New England.
The Giants at Detroit.
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 Detroit. They're favored by 10.5, and that's not even the biggest spread for the week.
P4, who you got?
I got Detroit.
Minnesota at Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Yep.
Seattle at Tennessee, tied for the highest spread of the week, 13.5.
Seattle.
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 Seattle. Indy at Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Indy.
Indy.
I'm gonna go Kansas City.
The Jets at Baltimore, which is the other 13.5 spread of the week.
Baltimore.
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 Jules, you know.
Give me the Jets.
Oh my gosh.
The Toilet Bowl game of the week, Cleveland at Vegas.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Vegas.
Myles Garrett might actually get 7 sacks that game.
Jacksonville at Arizona.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Arizona.
Tough. I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
Kyler Murray can't see over the line, so.
Well, they have Jacoby Brissett now.
That's actually true. Jacoby Brissett is Jacoby Brissett.
Philly at Dallas.
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 Philly.
Come on, guys. Philly.
Jules, you ruined it.
Dallas is winning at home, I think. I think you guys are going to split.
Jules is just a real one, you know.
Atlanta at New Orleans.
Atlanta.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Really? I think Kirko's getting it done.
Tampa at LA Rams.
Rams.
Tampa.
Rams.
Tampa.
Carolina at San Francisco.
San Fran.
Carolina.
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 Oh, okay. CMC's gonna cook his former team.
Jules, our favorite game of the week. The most expensive ticket to get into a game.
Dallas, Philly.
No. $65.
Ew, that's fucking disgusting. Fucking the Buffalo game then.
Oh, Buffalo. Where's Buffalo?
At Houston, nah, bro.
$93.
Indiana at Kansas City.
Indiana at Kansas City. $187. You're trending in the right direction. There's still 3 more higher.
Tampa Bay, LA.
$105.
Please tell me it's not like the Browns in Vegas game.
No, that one's $100 though.
Okay.
I wouldn't pay $2. You'd have to pay
the highest 3 grossing games. Minnesota at Green Bay is $196. New York New York at Detroit $247, and Pittsburgh at Chicago at $303.
Who is paying $300 to watch Pittsburgh play Chicago, bro?
Actually, my homeboy is, so.
That's gross.
That's insane, bro. You should tell him to take that $300 and buy like
he's a Rodgers fan, and he wants to see him before, he retires. So.
Crazy work.
Well, I guess that makes sense.
I'll finish it here. Yeah, the last thing I got, I guess, is the history, this day in history, and as of recording, it was the 18th. It's now the 19th, but the stat for the 18th, there really isn't much good at this point of the year, so I guess we're going to have to go with 1949. Jackie Robinson wins the NL MVP. with a 342 average.
Wow. Shout out Jackie, man.
Shout out
But
Jackie.
yeah, Jules, take us home. P4, thanks for joining on. I think it went pretty smooth for us having our first guest. So, when the Eagles choke in the playoffs right after the Super Bowl, we'll definitely have to have you back on so you can recant on how good your team is.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was really fun, and you mean when you're watching us go back to back, I'll be on.
And with that, just so P4 knows, just taking his, his phrase, this was "We don't know ball, you don't know ball." P4, thank you again for being a guest. Retro, Justin, Jules, we're out. We'll see you next week.
Jalen Hurts is worse than Anthony Richardson.